Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. Sorry it's been a while, but like I said in the last battle report, due to the holidays and work and everything like that, it's just been hard to get a game in. But I finally got one in, and it's battle report number 4. It's a 2,000-point battle. 'Tis I, Lord Tremendous of the Orcs, versus Bad Bass. or bass. I guess bad bass is what it's supposed to be. I don't know. It's a music thing. Anyway, my opponent plays bass, I think. It's the guitar that does the beats. The mad beats, which will actually come in play later. He's playing Ogres. This is a badass game. It's really, really good, really, really close. So sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy this Christmas miracle that is Battle Report number 4. Here's my list. Nothing has really changed from the last battle report except for my allies, but just because it's tradition, I will go through it. I have a God Speaker with Heal and Inspiring Talisman. I have a Flagger with the Healing Charm, and then I have another God Speaker with Heal and Crepognan Scrying Amulet. I just like the idea of my opponents throwing down D3+1 units before I have to throw down even one. It's kind of nice. Well, you know, and I only have to throw down one. It's nice, and it's advantageous, in my opinion. Rest of my army, I have an Axe Horde with the Brew of Strength. I've got a Morax Regiment with the Blessing of the Gods. Got some Gore Rider regiments with, well, a regiment anyway, with the Chant of Hate. And then I got a pair of Troll Hordes, one with Fire Oil and the other one with the Brew of Sharpness. Then I've got 3 units of Orcling regiments that are butt naked and a War Drum. Supplementing my army are my allies. I have an Earth Elemental Horde, and that's all I could give them, and a Hydra. And the only reason I do this is because I want to try out the Hydra. I want to play with the Hydra. Yeah, I know they suck, but whatever. That's going to do it for my list. I'm going to post my opponent's list, play some music. Feel free to pause it whenever you like, see what he took. Here's deployment, and like I said, he kind of throws all of his stuff down. He really doesn't care about me seeing where he's going to deploy. His army is pretty one-dimensional. They come forward and they break your skull, and they're really good at it. So I tried to be a little tactical, tried to use that house in the middle of the field there to my advantage, kind of splitting up my forces, splitting up his a little bit. I have the bulk of my stuff to the right. I got a Troll Horde, my Axe Horde. In front of them is an Orcling regiment to kind of screen and give me an advantageous charge, maybe break them up a little bit. I got the other trolls over there, and I set them over there because they have regen. I got one of my God Speakers in the back there with Inspiring to try to heal some stuff. I got the War Drums in the back to try to keep everything on the table, and I threw the Hydra over there because I figured if he was going to get shot at or take some damage, that would be the place to do it. On the left side of the house in the middle of the table there, I've got my proxied unit of Earth Elementals. Yes, they look like ogres, but believe it or not, they're Earth Elementals. In front of them is a unit of Orclings. Next to them is the Morax Regiment. Behind them is the Flagger. To the left of them is my other God Speaker. And then I've got another unit of Orclings in front of the Moraxes, kind of. And they're to kind of screen for the Moraxes from the shooters that he has, the boomers or whatever. And then on the far left, I have my Gore Riders, and their job is going to be to hit everything they can, hopefully in the flank, and run down the middle of his army until there's either nothing left or they're dead. That was as far as my tactics went for deployment. Here's top 1 after movement, and I bring my Orclings up almost as fast as they can go. I held the ones off on the far left flank there because I wanted to kind of stagger his charges if he makes them. Honestly, I don't know if any of his stuff was close enough. I don't like to measure that because it shows my opponent what I'm looking at, what I'm trying to get them to, not see. I want him to have to measure. I want him to make the charges. I know his chariots on the right side there could easily make that charge into my Orclings, and that would be really awesome, but I digress. Anyway, so everything moves up kind of centered around the Orclings. I'm trying to screen them. I'm trying to get my opponent into them so that I can countercharge them with a 10, 12, 10, 13 for the Orclings. They're a little bit tougher than I want them to be, but these are Ogres. They should be able to easily beat the crap out of all of them. The only exception to this is my Gore Riders on the far left. I throw them forward as far as they can because I'm not afraid of the shooters. If he comes at me and shoots at me, he needs 5s. If he charges me, unless they have Pathfinder, which I didn't know if they did or not, he's going to need 5s to hit me at a minimum, so I'm thinking my Gore Riders should be okay. Whether or not that's stupid, we'll find out in a little bit. But yeah, that is it for my entire turn, because the only magic I have is Fireball, and nothing's going to get close enough. The only reason I take God Speakers is because of heal, and I don't have any shooting in this army because shooting is for elves. That's it. That, of course, brings us to bottom of 1 after movement, and my opponent's not stupid, unfortunately, and he doesn't take my bait. He moves up very conservatively, which is a little frustrating because I need him to charge me because he's just got range. So yeah, with the exception of on the far left side, his boomers or shooters, or whatever the hell they're called now, charge the Gore Riders and make it. Well, not that there was ever anything about that. Sorry, I've still got a lot of fantasy and 9th Age rule sets in my head, and I'm trying really hard to shake them, and it's really not easy. Apparently my brain wants to hold on to old rules. But anyway, the shooters charge into my Gore Riders, and now we get to see whether or not this was a good plan, and that's it for his movement. There's been a picture of a shooter slamming into my Gore Riders, and that's going to be a heck of a fight. Well, it's going to be an interesting fight. I'm very curious to see how this is going to go. In the shooting magic phase, his hedonism bot ogre guy fires a lightning bolt at my Orclings and does 3 damage to them. It's not enough to make them waver or rout, thank God, but it is a start. And now I'm excited because they're definitely going to break when they see combat. It's a very short shooting magic phase because he's ogres, he likes to punch things, and his shooters are in combat. And so we go into combat, and they do 4 wounds to my Gore Riders, which, considering he needed 5s and 4s, it's pretty friggin' good. Luckily for me, I don't waver, I don't rout, and he has to back off an inch, which means I'm going to run into him with Gore Riders next turn and hopefully kill that unit off. So here's top of 2 after movement, and yes, my Gore Riders do slam into his shooters because we want revenge. Countercharge revenge. The Orclings on the left flank there, they move up to bait, basically. I want him to slam into them so that I can countercharge with the Morax and the Earth Elementals behind him. I send my God Speaker closer to the Gore Rider so he can cast heal on him. The Flagger stays behind the Morax and Earth Elementals. On the right flank there, the Orclings come forward as a sacrificial lamb. The Trolls and the Axe Horde back up because I do not want to be charged by his Chariot unit. That's terrifying. And my Hydra just kind of gets ready behind the house there to charge whatever target of opportunity might present itself. The other God Speaker and War Drum stay behind the Axe Horde, and that's it for my movement. In the magic phase, my God Speaker is able to heal 1 wound off of him. It's better than none, but would have preferred, 2. It is what it is. We jump into the combat phase, and my Gore Riders beat the piss out of the shooters, doing 11 wounds to these guys. Not terrible. Not terrible at all. I was very pleased. The resulting nerve test sees the shooters either get destroyed or run off the table, whichever you want to believe. It is Christmas, so I'm going to say that they just were told to leave the field of battle, and they did. But first blood goes to the Orcs, and I tilt slightly like this so that I can hit whatever hits the Orclings. Really looking forward to my next turn. This is working out. I'm excited. That takes us over to bottom of 2 after movement, and I guess losing his shooters pissed him off because he comes forward like a wave of anger. His warriors on both sides slam into the Orclings on my left flank there. That was what I was hoping for, and the fact that it worked out blew my mind. On the right side there, his legion of warriors slam into my Orclings, and that's awesome because I can send multiple units into him, hopefully, and do a lot of damage. Yes, I know I'll get countercharged by by his chariot and his giant and all that other stuff. But if I can take out his big old legion, maybe I can get lucky and hold on for just a little while. If nothing else, I'm going to get some solid combat. His siege breakers and his hedonism guy come forward in the middle there. I'm going to probably send a Hydra into them. On the left side, one of his flaggers comes up, or his army standards, and that's really it for his movement. So it's getting real, and it's getting real fast. His magic doesn't do anything, so we go straight into combat, and his legion attacks first, and does 6, 12, 18, 22 wounds to the Orclings. Unless he rolls Snake Eyes, those guys are out of here. Spoiler, he did not roll Snake Eyes. The Orclings run away, and no, you know what? Christmas or not, be damned. 22 wounds, they got murdered. The Orcs and the Trolls just watched their Orclings get slaughtered in front of them, and they giggled. Over here, it's mostly wash, rinse, repeat. The horde of ogres over here just do 11 wounds to these guys. No problem. They were already carrying 3. 14 wounds on them. It cost them their lives. They get removed from the table, and rightfully so. And the follow-up there, they come forward like 3 or 4 inches, which means my Earth Elementals are going to have a pretty much guaranteed charge on these guys. Just to show up, sorry, gotta backtrack a little bit. The Legion, they came forward like 5 or 6 inches too, so the Trolls, everything should be able to get a hold of these guys, and maybe with a little luck I'll do enough damage to rout them, which would be amazing. Over here, these ogres don't do quite as well because they were hindered. They charged through the forest, but they're still able to do 8 wounds to my Orclings, which is really good considering I think they needed 5s to hit, which sees these Orclings shuffle loose their mortal coil. That's okay. Everybody knows how to make more Orclings, so I'll be happy to remove them so that I can countercharge and hopefully kill me some ogres next turn. Follow-up move sees them go forward about 5 or 6 inches as well, which takes them out of the charge arc of the Gore Riders, but that's fine. I'm sending my Riders after his Inspiring Army Standard guy so that they don't get any rerolls. I'm hoping that this whole left flank is wiped out after my next turn. Fingers crossed. So here's top of 3 after movement, and as you can see, we go slamming in. My horde, or Axe Horde, slams into his Legion. The Hydra helps them out because the Trolls could get by and slam into his Siege Breakers, and that's too good of a charge to pass up. So the only thing that doesn't go in is my other unit of Trolls on the right there. I thought about sending forward to try to block the Chariots, but I want to pull his Giant out. If his Giant charges into my Axe unit, so be it. I can countercharge with the Trolls next turn. But I'm really hoping that something goes after my Trolls so on the right there so that it's kind of out of position. And, you know, the Trolls have regen. They might be able to sit in there for a little while. On the left flank there, the Earth Elementals go into the Warriors. The Morax go into the other unit of Warriors. And the Gore Riders slam into his Army Standard. Hopefully I'm going to be able to take him out next turn. My God Speaker on the left side there kind of sticks around. He's really got nothing to do. He can cast heal on the Gore Riders. I moved him up a little bit, but that's really it. My Flagger moves up just slightly to stay in range of the 2 guys. And yeah, on the left flank, the God Speaker and the War Drums just kind of keep up. That is really it for my movement. In the magic phase, my God Speaker is able to heal 2 wounds off the Gore Riders, which is great. That's really what I wanted to see. They're almost fully healed, and that's really going to be useful because they're about to get into the meat of this fight. And then we get into the fight. I mean, it's time to knock some heads together. I start off with my Gore Riders because I want his flag or his Army Standard guy gone. I do not want him to have Inspiring with his Warriors. And I'm able to do 6, 12, 16 wounds to this guy. It was glorious. Oh, I was so proud of my Gore Riders. And that's with them being hindered, by the way. All does not go according to plan, however, and I roll Snake Eyes for his nerve test. Yeah. You know that feeling when everything's going too perfect and then that monkey wrench hits you right in the jaw? That soul-sucking feeling? Yeah, you can actually see it in the picture. Oh, I was so upset! And yeah, it kind of goes downhill from there. My Morax regiment, 25 attacks, hindered, granted. I'm able to do 6 wounds to this unit of Warriors. That's it with 25 attacks. That hurt. Yeah, I don't even waver these guys. I back off an inch, and now I'm in for it. Oh, so bad. Over here, the dice gods have decided that they're going to make me pay for something. I don't know what it was, but man, they are taking it out in interest because the Earth Elemental's not hindered, nothing wrong with them at all. 3 wounds. 3 wounds. Yeah, it's not sexy at all. Needless to say, their nerve test consists of giggling and butterfly kisses. I back off an inch, and honestly, I'm rooting for this unit of warriors now to punish these dumbass Earth Elementals. Over here, my trolls and the siege breakers do remarkably well considering I'm in their front and they have a defense 6. Yeah, they have crushing strength too, so I need 4s, and I end up doing 8 wounds to them. Very respectable, and I'm very pleased with how my trolls are doing. And then it gets a lot better because I roll like a 10 and 18, they break and run off. They are routed. Trolls did incredibly well. Couldn't have been happier about that, especially after what happened on the left flank. In this combat over here, my axe horde and my Hydra are able to do 17 wounds to these guys. The Hydra actually hit with all 5 of his attacks. The axe horde hit with vastly more, and 17 wounds later, his legion is bleeding. I was super proud. Unfortunately, I don't roll high enough for it to matter. Believe it or not, his army standard behind him, I had to re-roll because I routed him with the first roll. Re-rolled it, and I rolled like a 3, so he was fine. Just barely, but he was fine. That was a hell of a combat. The Hydra and the Axe Horde back off, and hell, we know it's coming, but I was very, very pleased with their attack. No, I'm sorry. They are wavered or disoriented or something like that after their nerve check. So they don't break off, but they can't charge me next turn, and that's huge as well. Sorry, I forgot. So that's it for my turn. So we go over here to bottom of 3 after movement, and this game is far from over. So many counter charges. On the left flank there, both units of warriors slam into their respective units that charged them last turn, and then the army standard that shouldn't flippin' be there charges my flagger. And I was like, oh yeah, he really wasn't supposed to be there. That's why I moved my flagger up. I didn't even consider that army guy counter charging me. And yeah, so now my flagger just took a hit. That's not good at all. On the right flank there, the giant moves up but does not charge the trolls because he didn't have range. However, his chariots do charge my axe horde. It's not corner to corner. He was able to hit some meat on the unit there, and so the charge is totally legal. His legion can't do anything because they're wavered, and other than that, his hedonism guy hides behind the house to the left side of my troll unit that took out the siege breakers last turn because he doesn't want to get killed right away. But I was looking at it, my Gore Riders can hit his hedonism wizard no problem, so that should help a lot. Why didn't I spin my trolls around to get into this fight? Because I'm terrible at this game and I'm stupid. That's all I got for that one. So yeah, all in all, not a terrible turn, but I'm going to take some lumps. Hopefully most of my stuff survives. We'll see. During his magic phase, his hedonism guy shoots a lightning bolt at my Gore Riders, doing 1 or 2 wounds to him. I think just 1, but it is what it is. You know, one last spark before I shove their axes so far into his grape hole that he can't cast spells anymore. We jump straight into combat after that, and his warriors on my left flank there open up on the Morax unit. They do 3, 6, 9, 10 wounds, which isn't terrible, but it's significantly more than what I did to him. And even with the reroll, these guys run off. They break and die. Very, very disappointed. You can kind of see it in this picture. They turn around to look at the Gore Riders, and that's all bad news. His army standard attacks my flagger and does 2 wounds to him, which, honestly, with 3 attacks, that's really good. 2 wounds. That's all he did to him and was able to waver this guy. I don't know why I gave this guy my banner. He is a coward. But yeah, 2 wounds, he's wavered. He's not routed, but he's not doing anything next turn, and that sucks. In combat with the Earth Elementals there, I take 5 wounds. Defense 6, he's got Crushing Strength 1, is able to do 5 wounds to my guys. Oh, So disappointed in the Earth Elementals. I took them because I thought they could take a punch, and it's not really looking good. The Dice Gods smile down on me, though, and don't make me die, which is very nice. I'm not wavered, I'm not routed or anything like that, and he backs off an inch. They're going to get another attempt next turn. Let's see if it was just a fluke. This combat over here, his chariot unit is a meat grinder mixed with a blender mixed with Armageddon. Holy crap. 3, 6, 9, 12 wounds. 12! I mean, they got like Crushing Strength 3 and Thunderous Charge, or, 1, so they're wounding on 2s, but oh my god, they ate my lunch. 12 wounds on my Horde unit. We are floundering. And then, thank God, I have the Inspiring Talisman on my God Speaker that's right behind that unit. He actually rolls like an 11, which would have sucked. It would have, I think, wavered my unit. But luckily, no, I was okay. He had to re-roll it. No, not wavered. No, he would have... No. I'm fine because of the War Drums. So he rolls and I'm fine because of the War Drums, and they back off an inch. So that's great. I was thrilled that my Horde was able to take that charge, 12 wounds, and stay in the fight. And so now I've got a decision. Do I go after the... Do I countercharge the Chariots, or do I charge the Legion? And honestly, I think it would be smarter to charge the Legion. They just seem more dangerous to me. So that's it for combat, so here's top of 4 after movement, and here's where I realize I really should have cocked my trolls around after they beat the Siege Breakers. I didn't even realize until now. I'm not good at this game. I make no excuses at all. It is what it is. So my Hydra and my Axe Horde slam back into the Legion because I want them dead. I want the points, I want the space, and I'm hoping that heal and some luck keeps my charge, the incoming charge from the Chariots into my Horde brick, alive. There was nothing for me really to throw it away or anything like that. I really didn't position myself well here at all. My trolls go into his giant, and I'm hoping to be able to significantly damage him this turn so that if he doesn't break this turn, maybe next turn? We'll see. I don't know. He can only do like 12 attacks top, so I'm thinking my trolls will be okay on the right there. My Gore Riders slam into his Hedonism Wizard, and I'm looking forward to taking him out of the fight. My Earth Elementals go back into the Warriors, trying to take them out. And on the left side there, my God Speaker goes behind the unit of Warriors to hit him with Fireball. Maybe waver, or no, not him, but the Army Standard. Not to waver him or anything like that, but just to kill him off. He's got 16 wounds on him. I should only have to do 1 wound, and he should run away, unless I'm lucky enough to roll Snake Eyes again. But... that's my plan, that's what I'm sticking to, and that's it for my movement. So we go into the magic phase, and lo and behold, the God Speaker is able to fireball that piece of crap lucky friggin' Army Standard guy, does 4 wounds to him, and he runs off the table. That'll teach him. My God Speaker over here is able to heal my Axe unit for 3 wounds, which is huge. I was very pleased to see that. And then we go into combat. What else can I do? I start with the Earth Elementals thinking, okay, let's see how much better these guys do this turn. And they didn't do any worse. 3 wounds. Again. They do 3 wounds to the Warriors for a grand total of 6. Woohoo! Not impressed with Earth Elementals at all. And not that it would have really mattered, but I roll Snake Eyes to break them. Snake Eyes! It's twice! Twice in one game! So, yeah, I mean, there was a chance they were going to break. Their nerve check isn't, like, extraordinary or anything like that, but Snake Eyes is never good. But yeah, that unit backs off an inch, and I guess it wouldn't have mattered even if I did 3 dozen wounds to the unit with Snake Eyes as the nerve check. It ain't gonna matter. Going over here, the Gore Riders are able to do 9 wounds to Hedonism Caster over here, and that's awesome. The nerve check sees that fat bastard get exploded, and my Gore Riders just turn around. Because honestly, at this point, I figured I was okay on the right flank, and the left flank was faltering. So I moved my Gore Riders around to try to get a hold of any of these guys that I can in order to try to help out my cross-eyed Earth Elementals. Combat over here is glorious. We are able to destroy the Legion, and I didn't get a picture of how many wounds I did, but here's a picture of what it looks like afterwards when the unit is no longer in existence. Very, very pleased. I spin my Horde Brick around a little bit just so that I can take the incoming charge from the Chariots, because we all know it's coming. Honestly, I believe the Army Standard's coming in as well. And my Hydra, again, I kind of forget about things. I'm very stupid. And I leave him there. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't spin him around. Over here! Alright, so these trolls only have fire oil, but they're still mother effing trolls. I do 1 wound to the giant. 1. They have like 16, 18 attacks. They're not hitting bad. They're hitting on 4s. They got crushing strength 2. 1 wound. 1. Needless to say, his nerve check I shouldn't have even bothered rolling for. I back off an inch. Kinda, it's hard. His tusks are all over my models, or vice versa, however you want to see it. And yeah, I'm actually rooting for the giant now. I am so incredibly disappointed. This brings us over to bottom of 4 after movement, and yes, first and foremost, the giant charges the useless trolls, the chariots charge my horde of axe, and I'm hoping against hope that he doesn't roll as well as he did last time, but the chariots are incredibly good. His unit of warriors charges into my gore riders, and I think I'm going to be okay there. They just barely made it in, but they made it in. And the other unit of warriors charges back into the earth elementals, because why not? It's not like they have anything to fear from those idiots. Other than that, he doesn't really have anything. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, his army standard, the one remaining army standard, also charges into the horde. So, yeah. Not looking sexy at all, but we'll see what happens. And that is it, I believe, for his movement. With his caster dead, we go straight into combat, and actually, it's not that bad. The giant only does 3 wounds to my trolls, so maybe there's just something going on this side of the table. But yeah, just 3 wounds. It's very, very easy to get over that. Obviously, my trolls don't break, and then we go over into this combat with the chariots. And the chariots, well, they didn't score nearly as many wounds as they did the first round of combat. They scored way the fuck more. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16 wounds on top of the 9 I've already got with Brutal. That's around 20, 30 wounds or something like that before he rolls dice. Oh my God, did I underestimate the chariots? That was really, really bad. Yeah, granted, the army standard's in there with his 3 attacks. Holy crap! So, yeah, my horde is decimated, and that's pretty much where everything is. His chariots come forward a little bit, and his standard turns to face the trolls to try to block that charge. That's not sexy at all. His warriors over here slam into my gore riders and do 3, 6, 9, or 6 wounds on top of the 3 they already had, so they've got 9 wounds on them. And I'm thinking, there's a good chance that they'll be alright. Nope, like everything else in an orc army, they don't like to take a punch, and they break. They fall apart and run away. Really disappointed in that. It starts to occur to me that my nerve scores on some of my orc units are really terrible. I don't know. It's just frustrating to see them go like that. Those warriors are walking through me. Oh well, it is what it is. Combat over here, the warriors are able to go through the 6-up defense like it's nothing, like it's made of paper and faith. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 wounds on this garbage unit. They break and fall down like the useless pebbles that they are. Left flank has a flagger left on. I guess there's a God Speaker too. Just epically disappointed in the Morax and in the Earth Elementals. Really, really shoddy. So it's winding down now. Here's top of 5 after movement. I don't have a whole lot of moves. Trolls go back into the giant because I feel like doing another wound to him, and I heal up some wounds with regen. There's only 1 left on him. The other trolls go into the army standard guy because he has to die. The Hydra goes into the unit of warriors that just took out my gore riders, and the flagger and the God Speaker, they're just going to throw some. Well, the flagger's not going to do anything, but the God Speaker's going to try to hit these other unit of warriors with fireball. Maybe make them waver. Maybe make them rout. Something has to happen. moving. Godspeaker on the right goes after the chariots, going to try to put some wounds on them, maybe waver them if I'm lucky, but it's going to have to be stupid lucky. And then my war drums move up to just get near to the trolls and not get charged by the chariots. That's it for movement. I'm running out of options. My magic fails miserably. Fireball doesn't do anything to the warriors or the chariots. No wounds. Just Dice God said no. So we go into combat. My trolls attack the giant and do 5 solid wounds to him. Not terrible. Not great, but not terrible. I do waver the troll, but he's got fury, so he could care less. I back off an inch, and next turn I'm screwed. Over here, the siege-breaking unit of trolls is able to do 11 wounds to the army standard, and that's significant. I'm very pleased by that. He routs and is eaten by a troll, and then my trolls just tilt slightly in case the chariots try to march past us or whatever, double move or advance out of my charge arc. I want to make sure that I can still see them and charge them. The Hydra got into combat, did a couple of wounds. It was actually very pathetic. Actually, he did no wounds. He did nothing and backed off an inch. It was actually kind of embarrassing. So that brings us over here to bottom of 5 after movement. The Warriors countercharge the Hydra. The Warriors on the left flank charge the Godspeaker. The Chariots turn to face the Trolls, and the Giant charges the other unit of Trolls. That is it for movement. We jump straight into combat because he doesn't have any shooting or magic left, and he does 6 wounds to my Godspeaker with his Warrior Brick, which, I mean, these guys are 9/11. It's not going to take much to make him break. Yes, he falls apart no problem in the nerve check, and the Warriors kind of giggle. They turn around to look at the Flagger, and the Flagger poops himself a little bit because he knows what's coming. In this combat, the Warriors are able to put 4 wounds onto the Hydra, which, I mean, it shouldn't break him, but at this point, I'm so disappointed with the Hydra, I don't even care if it breaks. It doesn't, though. I'm lucky he doesn't roll, you know, average. And they back off an inch from him, so now he's got 4 more attacks. Let's see what happens. The Giant attacks my Trolls and puts 3 more wounds on them for a total of 4. Really low wound count between these 2 units in these fights. I don't know if that's average, if that's regular, if we're both just rolling like shit. In the nerve check, he's able to waver the Trolls, and since they don't have Headstrong or Fury, basically they're screwed. I was so upset. Is what it is, though. What can you do? That takes us over here to top of 6 after movement. It's winding down. My Hydra goes into the Warriors. My Flagger runs away. He marches as far as he can to get out of the charge arc of the Warriors that just took out my Godspeaker on the left flank. On the right, the Trolls go into the Chariots thinking, hey, maybe we got a shot here. And my other unit of Trolls stands there. I do roll for regen. I think I heal 1 or 2. It's not much. It's very disappointing. So many highs and lows in this game, but what can you do? That's it for my movement. We dive into we go into the magic phase, and my Godspeaker is able to do like 8 wounds to this thing, or not 8 wounds, yeah, like 8 wounds with Fireball or something crazy to this giant, and I roll like shit for his nerve check, and I only waver him, which isn't going to do anything to a giant. Come on, Dice Gods! Get on the home team, damn it! But I was impressed. Fireball actually did something. I was pleased. We jump into combat, and my Hydra, actually, he regened. Out of the 4 wounds he took, he regened 3 of them because the Dice Gods are awful people. And he's got 6 attacks. He's able to wound with 2 of them. This unit has 8 wounds on it. I roll like ass for his nerve check, and my Hydra backs off an inch. Hydra is kind of a garbage monster. You guys told me. I didn't want to listen, and as usual, y'all were right. Probably going to take him out of this list after this game is over, just because I'm finally done trying to make him work. This combat here, my Trolls just couldn't get past the armor. It's frustrating. I was only able to do 5 wounds to this unit, and I rolled like a 3 for the nerve check. They're more than fine, and my Trolls are about to get a reckoning. This is gonna hurt. As promised, pain. Here's bottom of 6 after movement. The warriors countercharge the Hydra, the chariots countercharge the trolls, and the giant slams back into my other trolls. It's all the worst parts of the Bible. Other than that, the other unit of warriors move up to, I guess, start supporting the warriors that are attacking the Hydra, and that's it for his movement. We jump straight into combat, and his, what's it called? His warriors are able to do like 8 wounds to the Hydra, something ridiculous. If only my monsters were as good as Ogre warriors. He routs without any hesitation, and the warriors move forward to support the chariots against the trolls in case the trolls don't get routed this turn. Not that I think that's going to be a problem. The chariots attack and put 12 wounds on my trolls. Those guys are wrecking balls. Like, holy crap, are chariots dangerous. My trolls agree with my assessment and flee off the table after catching that kind of a butt whooping. It is what it is, I'm not even upset. And then over here, the giant does 6 or 7 wounds to the trolls and routs them without any issue. He turns to face the God Speaker, and it is what it is. You know what? My army, I feel that I made a lot of errors, which were easily pointed out in this one, but I think I did pretty well. Better than I usually do. So, it is what it is. They put in a fight where they could. So we roll to see if it goes to turn 7, and it goes to turn 7. So here we are, overtime, top of 7 after movement. I don't have any. I've got war drums and a couple of useless characters left on the table. So we're laughing about it. We're like, cool, let's see what happens. He goes, send in your war drums. I charge with the war drums into his chariots. And then after I do it, he goes, oh no, the war drums are going to kill the chariots off. And I was like, yes, with their 6 attacks because I'm in the flank. We were laughing about it. The God Speaker pretty much just moved over a little bit to fire a fireball at the giant, maybe rout him, because he does have some wounds on him. And the flagger runs around the house just trying to survive because he's god-awful. That's it for movement. So we go ahead and we do the magic phase or whatever, and I'm able to put some more wounds on the giant. I don't remember how many, 1 or 2. But he's got like 10 on him or something like that, and I'm able to waver him again, which he's got Fury, doesn't matter in the slightest. But, you know, had it been anything else, that would have been really good. So you remember when the war drums charged the chariots? Well, we go into the combat phase. War drums have 3 attacks normal. I flank charge, and now he has 6. I roll, I do 4 wounds. 4 wounds with 6 attacks onto the chariot. They had 5 previous, they have 9 total now. No, they had 6 previous, so like 10 total. 9 or 10 total now. I roll like an 11 or something like that for his nerve check. And they rout. They rout. The war drums, the friggin' war drums beat the chariots on a flank charge. The mad beats is too much. The chariot unit that took out my horde brick, took out my trolls, and was the bane of my existence this game, got taken out by a flank charge of the war drums. That, my friends, is a legendary Christmas Eve miracle. So that puts us at bottom of 7, and his giant, the only thing that really happens is his giant slams into my war drums. His warriors move around a little bit, but there's not going to be a turn 8. The giant slamming into the war drums is all that matters. And you know what? Even if he kills the war drums, they will live forever in infamy. Absolutely amazing what just happened. We go right into combat, and he does 6 wounds to the war drum with his giant. Not a surprise. The war drum is -11, I believe, so it's not looking good for the home team. And then miracle number 2 happens. My opponent, he rolls enough to rout him. The inspiring God Speaker's within 6 inches. He re-rolls and rolls Snake Eyes. Oh my god, these drummers. Christmas miracle number 2 in the same damn game! Oh, I should have charged with the drummers way earlier than this. This is absolutely amazing. So, yeah, he backs off an inch, takes a knee, and swears fealty to the war drummers. Absolutely fantastic. And that's it. That's the end of the game. I've got a couple of characters and a bleeding war drum. My opponent has 2 hordes of warriors and a giant. This was a brutal, brutal game with one of the most epic endings I think I've ever seen. Loved every minute of it. Couldn't believe the way it ended. The war drums are legendary. Legend, wait for it, dairy. Yes, I even went there. That's how pleased I am with the war drums. Oh, really enjoyed the game. Really enjoyed how this all worked out, even though I got my teeth pushed in. But, you know what? We're going to get to the recap right away because this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So yeah, it was a defeat for Lord Tremendous. I got 1,410 out of him, he got 1,735 out of me for a difference of about 325. I lost everything but a God Speaker, my flagger, and the legendary war drums. Bad Base had 2 warrior hordes left and a giant. This was a close one. Excellent, excellent game. I got nothing to complain about. You know, yeah, some things could have went better, but I also made a lot of mistakes. And my opponent made some mistakes, but he capitalized on mine a lot better than I did on his. Really, really good game. I really enjoyed this a lot. I learned a lot about the army. I learned a lot about what works and what doesn't work. For the most part, I still have a lot to learn, especially, for example, what to do with your units after a combat that you've won. I do it so rarely that I get confused. But, yeah, really close. My left flank falling apart really hurt me. I just could not recover. And in the end, that's more or less what won him the game. When my left flank collapsed and my right flank was right behind it, I had nothing with support. So the Orcs don't like to get hit. They can deliver, kinda, but when they take a hit, their nerve check just doesn't stack up, and they run real easy. I finally had enough of the Hydra. It's coming out of this list. I think I'm going to ally with Ogres because I have the models, and honestly, I want a Siegebreaker unit, so I'm probably going to try that instead. Not a huge fan of Force of Nature. Didn't really find anything in that army that worked for me, or worked well for me, or did anything for me other than help me lose. So, who knows? Who knows? I know it's probably me. It's not the units. I'm sure there's plenty of Forces of Nature people out there that are amazing with the units, but I'm not one of them. So, hopefully swapping over with some Ogre allies to my Orcs will help a lot. So I don't know if you guys caught it or not, but can we take a moment to talk about the war drums and them taking out the chariots on the biggest fluke of the entire game? Oh, they charge into the flank, do 4 wounds, and break the unit. Oh my god, that should not have happened. Totally made up for the Snake Eyes thing that kind of bogged down my Gore Riders, but awesome moment in the game, to say the least. And what an end note. I still lost, but I feel like I won. That chariot unit is tough, so next time I see him, I'm definitely sending the war drums right into him. My Gore Riders did pretty good this game. They really couldn't take a hit, which bothered me, but still, I like them. I like them. Maybe I'll put another unit in eventually. I really don't know, but their mobility and their ability to hit, I was pleased with them, to say the least. And, yeah, I can't seem to win a game of Kings of War, but I'm really enjoying playing the game. So that's kind of like winning, right? But this was a truly wonderful game against a truly wonderful opponent, and I am very much looking forward to the rematch. I need more war drums. That seems to be the counter to chariots. If only I had more war drums. No, this was excellent. Really, really thought it was funny, and looking forward definitely to seeing if I can pull that off again. I'm charging with the war drums more often, definitely. Real quick note, if you're still listening, I have finally gotten my Titan Forge army from the Kickstarter that was supposed to be delivered in June, and the models are excellent. Once I get Big Tom to paint them up, I'm going to put them on some bases, and I'm going to do the Chaos Warrior version of Kings of War with them, and very much looking forward to having them on the table. So something to look forward to, probably February time frame. But that's going to do it. Battle Report number 4 for Kings of War is officially in the history books. As always, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comments section below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. Hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, or whatever it is you celebrate or don't celebrate. I just want you to have a good time. You know, pants optional, the way it should be, the way God intended, or whatever you believe in. And as always, guys, thanks.